This week on Trad Archery 101, yep, we're going to talk about it again. Back tension. Hey everybody, welcome to Trad Archery 101. Greg here. Alright, back tension, yep, again. Why do you keep covering back tension, Greg? Because it is the single most misunderstood, misapplied, and yet important aspect to having a clean release, which will give you good and consistent shots. Right? This past September here, we held an archery tournament. We had people come from 5 states. And I love going to 3D shoots, meeting people, and all that. But it's my laboratory. I watch people shoot and I make observations. And I think about them and I play with them. And for me, I've been working even on my back tension. Now I'm going to say up front, I don't even have proper back tension. I have it at times, but not all the time. And it's really hard for me to put into words, which means, I don't fully understand it. And I do, I just haven't figured out the body mechanics of me doing it every time. I get the feeling, I lose the feeling. Or if I'm out shooting and I get tired, I don't think about it properly. All right? So, how I came up with all this was I was trying to do back tension. If you watch Olympic archers, hands just moves naturally. But when I watch trad archers, I see release, then a jerk back. That's 2 motions. Olympic archers are 1 motion. I was wondering, how do they get that? Then one day I'm watching a video and I found out. So we're going to go back inside to my computer room. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to show you why Olympic archers have it. And therein is the big secret. Alright everybody, to learn the secret, we got to check out the man himself, Brady Ellison. Look at his bow. I want you to look right above his index knuckle. See that little arm sticking out downward at an angle? That's the secret. What that is a clicker. When he's there, he's going to expand, and that arrow is going to move slightly back. And when that clicker, the arrow is going to leave it, the clicker is going to slap forward, and boom, he lets it go. So let's take a look at that right there. In order to work that clicker, Brady Ellison cannot hold. He keeps pulling. He keeps expanding. He does it by positive pressure in the front hand and pulling with the backhand. That is why Olympic archers have that beautiful clean release. They're not holding, they're pulling, and when that thing clicks, they just let go and the pull keeps happening. So let's watch it one more time, but in slow motion. Focus on the point of the arrow and watch it slowly move back and then forward. Alright, let's look at the hand. Now I'm going to do it in regular speed, and then I'm going to do it in slow motion a couple of times. And you're going to be able to see that you can tell when he's about to release by the tension in his forearm. You can see the motion beforehand. Now, regular speed, it is beautiful, man. That thing just springs back. But when you put it in slow motion, you can see there's a slight, ever so slight difference between the two. But it's still there. In real time, there's none. But in slow motion, it makes it look like there's one, but there's really not. All right? So let's take a look at it. Full speed and then slow motion a couple times, and pay attention to that forearm for the pressure. All right, everybody, there's the secret. So the question now becomes, how do we replicate that? Right? They use a clicker. They're pulling the whole time. They don't draw and hold like we do. We get here, it's over. We are holding. Now, the big thing to understand is movements. Large, small, macro, micro, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be that small movement. I don't like the word movement so much because it throws you off, and people go, well, I used the arrow. It's going to change my gap. Not really. Not once you get used to it. I like the word pressure. So when I talk to people, they all say, Greg, I got proper back tension. I squeeze my shoulders. I do this, I do that. And I watch them and they don't. And I go, I need to help you. Can I help you? Will you take anything? And they go, yeah. So I get them at full draw and I grab their front wrist and their elbow and I pull them apart. And I hold them and I can see them starting to go, now you have back tension. It's not this. Back tension is not holding, stopping the bow from collapsing. That's holding. You're trying to prevent this bow from moving inward. And if you watch, which I can show you because I do it a lot, we're here, we're holding, and then there's just this micro release of pressure, just a tad, so we can release. All right? That's the big part you got to learn not to do, is that little micro release. You don't even feel it, it's so small. But I see it in my videos, especially when I slow down the footage and go frame by frame. So what we want is always pressure outward. Now here's where it gets complicated. The pressure doesn't come from your shoulder, especially in the bow hand, what I'm talking about. You don't push with your shoulder. That's bad. That shoulder has to stay in. But you got to press forward. You got to press forward with this, your hand, the thumb part. And it's not so much pressing forward, but resisting. When I pull on this string, this bow wants to move this way, right? But I'm stopping it. Now that's holding. But if I apply a little pressure with my hand, ever so slight, that's what I want on the front hand. Now on the back hand, it's not hold. You're going to get to a point where you're here, where you're at the max you can be, and all you have to simply do, which is not simple, let go. And when you let go, because you're pulling back that whole time, the hand's going to move back. Now we're not going to get this. You're going to get this, or maybe this. All right, very small movements, but it's that critical point of having pressure on both ends, and then boom, releasing them. And they don't do this. This is a big tail. Are you ready? Boom, little in movement, little in movement. It's not this. That's just you faking it. This pretty much stays straight. Might cock a little bit, depending on your hand. And this. Right there. All right. So up next, I'll take some shots. We'll film it from the side and see if I can achieve what I'm talking about. All right, everybody, let's go over the bow hand part first, all right? So, you know, we see Olympic archers and they bend their wrist. That's not so much from them pushing, but from them trying to hold the weight of the bow. Once they let go, that stabilizes or pulls the bow downward. Instead of fighting it, they just go with it, all right? It is pushing. It's not like, you know, you push and you fall off. It's just pushing and they just relax it. And there's another part. You have to relax your bow hand. That one's tough for most of us. All right, let me set my crawl real quick. So, do that if you have to. Loosen your grip. Lock in that shoulder, all right? Watch me. This is how I do mine. See that shoulder? Look at that. Not shoulder up, shoulder down. All right, let's keep that shoulder down. All right, get my crawl. I don't want to lose an arrow in an open field. Now, right from here when I start, I already put that pressure back in. I'm not holding, I'm pushing it. You can see, look, boom. The pressure's not only there, but it's from me rotating my body a little. So I get that pressure. I'm going to draw. I am pushing back with that front hand. See the hand drop? My bow's in line. I did it right. Yay me. All right, one more time. I'm working on that front hand, right? Make sure my grip is nice and relaxed. It's firmly in place. I got the pressure on it. I keep that pressure going. As I draw, that pressure in my front hand has to increase. And there you go. So that's the front hand. That's going to help you return the pressure. As you draw, the pressure increases. The pressure in the hand has to increase. Now for the hard one, the backhand. Oh. All right, the backside. This is where we can get in real trouble, because if you rotate over-rotate, that's just as bad as not reaching full draw. So when you hit full draw, it's not this, it's that. It's moving that way. All right, so I'll do it from both sides. Hopefully I'll have it. Don't have it down perfect, but you never know, an old man might get lucky. All right, so we're here. Gonna do my crawl. Same thing, I'm gonna set that front shoulder. You have to set that front shoulder. I'm setting my hook. I cock my wrist. I got the pressure in the front hand. As I draw, the pressure increases the front hand. I resist more. I do not pull with my hand. I draw by rotating my scapula. I actually did it that time. All right? Now, sometimes, and I'll try to hold this time, I have to work at it. Set my shoulder, set my hook. Roll the shoulder blade. Moved less that time. And that's where I'm at. I'm at the point where I can get it really well and not so well. But I'm working on it. One more. There you go. It's natural. It's not like go and pull. You just got to let go. So there's a drill you can do. You got to find some drills. Grab a heavy bucket. Hold it. Make sure the bucket's a few inches off the ground. Just let it go. All right? You're going to find you're going to want to move. You want to do something. Your body's want to adjust before you let go. But just let go. Pull it up with your shoulder and just let go. You can use the same thing with one of those elastic bands, the stretchy bands. Same thing. Pull, just let go. Work on just letting go. But if you keep the backward tension and you let go, the hand's just naturally going to move back. All right? So we're going to try it again from the back, and let's see how we do there. All right, I'm in the shade, but you should still be able to see it, and I can always lighten it up and do the contrast stuff. All right, so remember, equal pressure, not unequal. Release, both expand. Expansion doesn't stop when you release. It continues and it just naturally stops. So, see if I can do it. 2, 4, 6. Set the front shoulder. I cock my shoulder. Think of your arm as a lever. You don't pull with your hand. I'm telling you, so many people tell me they don't pull with their hand. You do. All right? When I help them, I can show them that. Tell them to relax their hand and pull their elbow back. You got to learn to roll that scapula around. There's some drills. I have a video on that. All right? So I'll show you here in a second if we can do it. Lock it in. How's a pluck? And there you go. So hopefully I did it and I can show you. I'll do it in slow motion and we'll see if there's a micro collapse. But that was it. I had it and then I released it right before I shot. And that's what I'm talking about. It is so minor, so small that we don't even realize it until it's too late. You still feel like you got pressure, but it's actually negative pressure and not positive pressure. Let's see if I can do it properly. Yeah, right in the red. See that? That was perfect. I'm going to take it down range. I'm going to show you what a micro collapse caused at 20 yards as opposed to positive pressure. Right? That is a big one.
Alright everybody, let's look at it in slow motion. Now I want you to put your focus on my elbow and watch that elbow and look for that collapse right before I release. Did you see that? Did you see it move slightly inward right before I released it? That is a micro collapse. Let's watch that again. That little collapse, that is what forced my hand away from my face. Now let's watch it one final time. This time, watch the forearm up by the wrist and you'll see it move away from my face. Finally, let's compare the two side by side.
All right, here we are downrange. 2 arrows. Positive pressure, negative pressure. Elevation's pretty much the same. Not a whole lot difference. There's probably maybe an inch. But left to right, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 inches difference. And all it was I stopped pulling, and once I stopped pulling, the only way to let go is I had to do a micro release, and then I had to pull my hand away. And that's it. Boys and girls, shooting archery about having a straight line. When you're like this, positive pressure forward and back, arrow goes that way. But when you lose it and you kick it up, now where's this? Look what we just did. It's going that way. People say the flexing of the arrow could correct it. It does. And it doesn't. So what you want to do is get everything lined up with skeletal alignment. Gauge positive and negative pressure. And then simply drop it. Right? So there you have it. Something to play with. Positive and negative. This hand, pressure increases as you draw. Not negative, not holding. Positive, reinforcing, pushing that bow back towards the target. This hand never settles, never holds. Minute, super micro, expansion, maximum hold that you possibly can, to where there's so much pressure you can just feel it. Your body's going to say, shoot now, shoot now, shoot now. You'll get used to it. And then all you're going to do is you're going to let go, and that hand's going to go back. And your arrows, you're probably going to have to do a new spine, because your arrows are going to fly better, straighter, faster. So many advantages to it. Back pressure, back tension, whatever you want to call it. It's the single most critical thing, right? And I hope that helps you, because I'm telling you, when I have it, I can shoot about average. All right, everybody, I have a website called 3darchery.net, and on that website you can find a listing of archery courses, ranges, clubs, festivals, competitions, and a lot more. All right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time with an all-new episode of Trad Archery 101. Now I'm going to go practice what I preach and go practice back tension.